Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's well and okay. The weather today is not very glamorously nice. In fact, it's awful. It's windy and it's dull. It's been raining. It's not good. Anyway, Sammy, she's still doing those little noises and she's still sneezing, but she doesn't seem to be doing them as badly as yesterday. She is whistling, so hopefully she will get better. She might have a few sleeps during the day, I'm expecting that. So I'm just gonna sort of leave her to it, not ignore her, but I'm here for her, but I'm just gonna let her do her own thing. So constantly through the day, every few hours, I'm gonna change her water and I'll change her seed. And I'll give her another vegetable later on. See, she's doing that little whimpering. I don't know whether you can hear her. So anyway, that's Sammy. Now, welcome to Morning General Chit Chat. And today's subject, I'd like to talk about animals and pets. Now, we all love animals. I'm sure animals are just the beautiful creatures. No matter what they are, they're here on earth, just like we are. And you think one day, just like I did with our Sammy, I'll get a pet. You think it's time for me to get a pet, and it can change your life. Even for a person who doesn't really like animals, it can change a person's life for the better. Like, I was so made up we got our Sammy. When we went to the pet shop and we talked about getting a budgie, Richard made no secret that he'd prefer a dog, but he came round to the idea of us getting a budgie, a bird, and that's how Sammy came to be Sammy. And I love her, and he, in his own way, loves her. I mean, you've heard him joke that he'll break her neck, but he wouldn't hurt her. And anybody who's got a budgie probably feels how I do. The great companions budgies, like Richard, more often than not, it does come down sometimes, the same time I do, but more often than not, he stays in bed. Sometimes it can be till dinner time, lunchtime. So it's a long morning when you're by yourself. So that's when I thought a budgie would be an ideal companion for me to talk to, and she's loyal, I tell Sammy my secrets. If I'm really having a bad day, she's there. And yeah, you're there. Yes, you were. See, she answered back then. She said yes in her own way. So for some people, getting a pet, it changes the life for the better. A dog you can go having a walk with. Dogs are very loyal. They can be very loyal animals. We've had dogs ourselves, so we know they can be great fun. You go walking with them, they stay by your side, no matter what dog really. They stay by your side, and the great company and companions, especially if you're a person living alone. Now, what was that for? Because I'm talking about dogs and not budgies. If you're a person living alone, a dog can be a good thing. It gets you out of the house. It gets you exercising. Having dogs, somehow people seem to talk to you when you've got a dog at your side when you're walking. Someone put on, actually, on social media, that if they've got the dog by the side, people will speak. But if they're by themselves with no dog, they don't. It's quite a strange one, that. But interesting at the same time. Makes you wonder, did he fancy the dog more than the person? Well, stranger things have happened in the world, haven't they? But that's dogs for you. And they're loyal too. I've had Alsatians, German Shepherd, and I've also had an Alsatian cross. So that was a mongrel. The German Shepherd, sadly, died quite young because he had a brain tumour. And he was 10 years old. And he had to be put down because he couldn't eat his food. He started not eating his food and he was ill all the time. He was being sick. So he got took to the vets one day. And he scanned him, scanned his head, and he had a big massive tumour. It's still sad. Even today it's still sad. And he said he's got a brain, the veterinarian said he's got a brain tumour. I'm ever so sorry. And what happened was it was the strangest thing ever. He got a big massive needle. I weren't there, I was too young. I was too young, but I had he got a big massive needle like that. He said if I put this in his brain, in his head, he wouldn't feel it. And he did. The dog never flinched. So he got put down that very day because there was nothing they could do for him. Then a few years later, we got another dog, and I was older, and he was an Alsatian cross with something else. I don't know what other breed, but he was lovely. He was sandy coloured all over, and he had an Alsatian's face. He was a bit of a daft character, but in his own way, he was lovely. He was marvellous. I was still quite a young child, and I used to dance for him and perform for him, and he'd just cock his head and look at me. He was a bit of a boisterous dog as well, but he was a lot of fun. He liked the attention being all solely on him. And what used to happen is if you started playing with another, this is probably the Alsatian in him, because I believe Alsatians are loyal, but they also have a jealous streak as well. And so if I started paying attention to something like a teddy bear or something like that, he would not like that. So you can only imagine. But he was lovely, and he's still missed today. We had him for 14 years. Just going on to 14 years, and we enjoyed every minute. Now his story, when we got him, because my dad was a bricklayer, and he came across a couple who they were divorcing, and so they had Ty. His name was Ty. They had Ty, and although they called him Tyson then, and they were divorcing, and neither of them wanted the dog. So my dad took him. He said, can I take him? And they said, yeah. And so he was a little bit rough around the edges. That's probably why he was so boisterous. Probably because he wasn't brought up with the attention he needed. But he seemed to settle down and calm down after a bit. And it was a great joy, walking him to the park. And now the thing with dogs All right. It's a bit different from having a budgie. Because dogs, they're a massive responsibility. All right, Sammy. All right. I know I'm talking about budgies too, but I'm talking about dogs now. All right. It's like she knows. The thing with dogs is they're lovely. The hell of a responsibility though, and that's why I've said no to us having a dog. Because the dog comes first. You can't just, I mean, with a budgie, someone can call in, and I'm not saying I'm not being biased just because I've got a budgie. But with a budgie, yeah, somebody still needs to call in if Richard and I went away. With a dog, they really do need looking after. Now, putting a dog in something like a kennel, I believe it's really, really expensive. I wouldn't like to say how much it is for a few nights to go in a kennel. I just wouldn't like to say, unless you've got appropriate care for your animal while you're on holiday. Then I'd think twice. Sadly, all the time I'm hearing how people get dogs and they can't look after them. And it's happening every day, single day. Animals get abandoned, and it's not fair and it's not right. If you really, really are considering getting a pet, then you've got to be prepared for the consequences of getting that animal. All the responsibility it takes, because it's, especially with dogs, they're a massive responsibility. I know I've said that word a good few times and it's repetitive, but it is what it is. You have to be prepared. Animals can be really expensive. We're talking the upkeep of an animal. We're talking the vets as well. And vets aren't cheap. You're probably better off getting insurance cover to afford if anything did happen to your animal and they needed serious urgent treatment. You probably are better off going with an insurance, some sort of animal insurance for that animal. Like, I know someone who's got a dog, and their dog was really sick. A Rottweiler. I'm just getting a tissue. Ugh. A Rottweiler, and 1 second, everybody. Rottweiler, and it was just really poorly. Quite an old dog. No, so they had it to the vets, and I can't remember what it was. What it was. The dog had something, and it was. So the only thing they could do, it could have been cancer or something. And the only thing they could do for this dog was give it treatment for it to, live a bit longer. And it was in pain. And it ended up costing the owner £2,000, and that is so expensive. I mean, you want to think you're doing the best for your animal, you do, but £2,000. And so they paid it. But treatment is never a guarantee. And sadly, it got to where the animal was suffering so bad that they had to put it down. And it's heartbreaking. It really is. So you have to be prepared for that too. For loss of an animal. I mean, we know animals are not going to live forever. But you adopt an animal and they become part of your family. Just like our Sammy is in this house. I know I'm getting a little bit emotional because I'm thinking about what they must have gone through when they lost their dog, and I know what it's like to lose animals, budgies, dogs. I've had quite a few animals in my life, and it doesn't get any easier. I watched the programme when I was small, Animal Hospital. And even watching animals on the TV, nature programmes, and it makes you feel sad, even when it's not your animal. Animals have a big effect on people. Around where I live, it's always on the internet how someone's lost an animal and they're doing whatever they can to find it. A lot of cats go missing. But cats, that is an animal I've never owned. I know people who's had cats, but I've never actually owned one myself. Cats they're independent, and on their terms, they can be a good companion. I'm not a cat person, and I'll not make any secret of it, only because they do look cute. They do. I might change my mind one day. But they do keep the mice away. That's another positive. I don't really know much about cats, to be honest, if you'd like to enlighten me. One of my viewers, one of my subscribers, has got 3 cats. And I believe they're very, very lovable. And they keep her company. Yeah, they probably are very loving, cats. Everybody I've spoke to who's got cats have said they're lovely, you know. I can't really say anything bad about cats because I've never had one, for one. I mean, my dad said that they're a destroyer of furniture, but so can a dog be. A dog can too. Destroy everything. If you think, no, it's gone 27 minutes. If you're thinking of getting an animal, please, they're not only a Christmas present. They're for life. Animals are for life. And you have to know with what you're going into. No matter what animal, there's a lot of exotic animals as well. I mean, I wanted a tarantula. Seriously, I love spiders, and I wanted a tarantula. Richard said no. I've never owned one, granted. To get a tarantula or whatever exotic pet you want, you have to really do your research, because there's a lot of things. Exotic is in the name. It's like they're very, very different. They can be very, very different from owning a dog, for example. You have to know that animal for you to proceed, because it can go very badly if you're not prepared. It's like us getting a tortoise. People own tortoises. My mum said she used to own one. You'd have to, it has to have the right environment. Like rabbits, I believe on the news about a year ago, there was a big big thing about rabbits because people were getting rabbits and then all of a sudden they didn't want them anymore, and it was because, for the simple reason, they didn't have the right space for rabbits. Rabbits need a big garden to run around in. They need a big hutch. They need the right... You think, oh, it's just a rabbit. But it's not, though. It's still an animal. It's still a creature to be cared for and loved. So please think about what I've said if you consider getting an animal. Animals are lovely, but you have to be prepared. And you have to consider every factor. Okay. So that concludes General Morning Chit Chat. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and a subscription, as it does mean so much to us. Please check out all my other videos and content, as you may enjoy them and find them interesting. Please comment on my videos. I love reading them. I love responding to them. Please be kind in your comments. None of this, nobody cares, because somebody might care. Just because you might not, it doesn't mean it doesn't interest or help someone else, okay? Please, it's only 3 days to Christmas. So we've got today, tomorrow, and then Christmas Day. Please be safe, whatever you're doing, on the streets. Be vigilant. I hope you're all sorted for Christmas. Okay. So coming up today, I will be doing lunchtime with me. I couldn't be saying General Morning Chit Chat again, and I've just done it. I am going to be doing lunchtime with me if I can rustle up something good. So please check that out when I've done it. Loading probably is still coffee morning, so it'll get to you when it gets to you. Same with this video, as it is over 30 minutes long. Hopefully it will come to you soon. It just depends on the internet, on the speed. It's just how it is. So we'll see you soon again. Okay. Bye.